You recently had a close decision loss to Alexandro Santiago in your last bout. You're 41 years old. Was you nine-time world champion?
9-time world champion.
Nine-time world champion, 4 divisions.
I say 5, man, because they do count the interim champion. Nobody wanted to fight me in that 115 pound. You know, I was chasing for a title, and probably if I stayed, they would have granted me the full belt. But the interim, they usually will call that. I consider myself as 5, but people will say thing, and that's why I was like, you know what? I want to make it legitimate. Let's get somebody in the 115 to get it legitimate. You know.
Bonafide first ballot Hall of Famer. We all know. What's left to accomplish?
I don't think there's really nothing left to accomplish. I mean, I've done and accomplished all that I wanted to do in 2012, you know, and I was happy with that. It's just that I'm a fighter, you know. It's like I was talking to Tuto Savada, and he was saying that the fighters don't ever retire themselves, you know. Like he was talking about Duran. That if Duran could fight till he was 100 years old, he will. One person that will retire a fighter is a promoter, because if the promoter don't give them a fight, they will retire because they got nowhere else to go. You know what I'm saying? It's like that mentality. A fighter will not pull himself out, and if they do, they go through a lot. And I've talked to a lot of fighters from, you know, Nate Campbell to what's his name, the announcers. I mean, there's a lot of fighters from Chris Algieri to just anybody, really. You know, fighting is what we do from the very beginning. It's our career, it's our love, it's what we know what to do. And to go beyond that, to do something different, it's very difficult. And that's why you see a lot of fighters become very depressed, very messed up, and from drugs to alcohol to all of that stuff, because they don't know what to do after boxing, you know. And for me, I'm already thinking, what else is there for me, you know what I mean? Like, for me, I want to keep going, and I think I can still beat these guys, and I know I can. But the problem is, it's just gonna be a cycle of all the fighters in their history of like taking beatings because they just don't know when to quit, right? And I realized that I have to have the same emotion. The thing about boxing is emotion. If you can suffice and then find something that will give you that same emotion as being inside that ring, then and a purpose is it will grant you the level of understanding to say goodbye to the sport that you love. You gotta have a greater purpose than how you got in the boxing ring in the first place. And a lot of fighters can't find that. Even a lot of people in life can't find that, you know. And it's those that are blessed to find what purpose they want in their life, you know. And you gotta have to search constantly, failing and getting back up every single time. You know, I'm blessed that I have an amazing wife, amazing partner that allow me to find my path of not just me, because as a fighter, I am a fighter that want to provide for my family, my kids, and the purpose of my desire of becoming one of the best. But beyond that, I gotta have something stronger to allow me to let go of that. And you know, she had helped me to find a business that helps not me but just the world and people that are in need. So I'm blessed that I can move on if I want to now, because I'll never have to look back if I don't need to.
Now, you've had a unique career, right? The start of your career isn't like a lot of guys that's accomplished what you've accomplished. I'm not sure everybody knows your story. You were a decorated amateur. Just go from there.
Man, I was a decorated amateur back in 2000. No one really believed Filipinos, because every manager, if you're not an Olympian, you're still a nobody, even if you're decorated. So with me being a tiny guy, 105, you know, there was nobody, they couldn't make money off of me, you know, so they didn't really care too much about whether I'm decorated. If I wasn't an Olympian, I was still like everybody else. And so I had to go up in weight, you know, from 12, 15, 18, and 22s to get a fight, you know. But that's the unfortunate thing was I just didn't have any backers because no one really cared and believed that I remember I would talk to managers and they said, no, Filipinos can't crack an egg because this is for Pacquiao, you know. And they didn't care about it at all, especially a little guy like me. And so I took fights at a heavier division, and they would say, you know what? I got a fight for you, but it'll be in 2 days. All right, sign me up. You know, and I ended up knocking that dude out. You know, oh, hey, I got a fight. It's in a week, though. Are you good with that? I'm like, bring it. I've been training all my life, every day. You know, let's do it. And I knock him out, you know, and came to a point that the person that was giving their prospect a hard time that was supposed to knock me out, I knocked them all out. And so they're like, oh, we got to watch this kid. You know, and from that point on, that's when I got the opportunity to think. And even then, they still use me with Darchinyan as someone to get knocked out, right? They started seeing me, so they're like, oh, maybe it might be a good fight, but I think Darchinyan will get him, right? But they still use me as a stepping stone for somebody else because, you know, I lost my second fight, you know, because I fought in the heavy division. I broke my hand, and you know, and all this stuff. And by the way, that was like a 5-round fight. It was 2 elite amateur fighters, and they decided we couldn't fight 6 rounds, so they did 5 rounds. It was weird.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So I ended up losing that decision, but I thought I won that fight anyway, you know. But ultimately, it came to that point where I was the guy they called if they needed a backup.
So wait, you were a B-side guy?
I was an F-side, C-side guy, D-side guy, Z-side guy, because I was the last guy they'll call, but I was that guy that they would need in a couple of days, in a couple of weeks, you know. And I was the guy. I'm like, I didn't care too much about it whether I win or lose. I just went out there, just want to hit somebody, you know, and get that money. That's it, you know. And the funny thing was, I was a $400 kind of guy. I was $1 per round guy. So for a long time, it was $400 for 4 rounds, and then 6 rounds, and then 8 rounds, until I got my shot as a NABF, NABO. But that was like just a couple of $1,000s, you know. And then after that, they gave me the shot with Darchinyan, and that's when I never went less than that after that.
Yo, I had no idea.
And this is why I fight everybody, because I've always done that. Even though they tell me that's wrong, you can't do that, this and that, I'm like, what am I gonna be scared of?